Welcome to REV'N News. I'm Mike, and this is Joe, your REV'N News hosts.
REV'N News is your weekly automotive news source, delivering highlights on the latest products from the aftermarket and the industry's top movers and shakers. At REV'N News, we cover anything that revs.
And this week, we're going off-road.
Well, not really, but we are going to be showing you some great off-roading products.
Like some off-roading shocks, safety seats and helmets, and a lift kit. So let's roll by getting to know one of the most popular brands out there for off-road shocks, Bilstein.
The genesis of Bilstein is that our claim to fame is that we developed the first monotube shock absorber, and that's basically a shock that has nitrogen gas and oil, but they're not mixed together. They're separated by a dividing piston. And the main thing about the monotube shock is it performs consistently. There's no oil foaming. So Bilstein developed this technology back in the 50s. Well, I like to say with the motorsports, when you get certain competitors, they will peak the performance level of the product, especially like with off-road. There's a lot of durability issues. They're going over whoops at 90 miles an hour, and you really get to the peak. If you get a certain driver that is, say, faster than the next guy, or say someone who's the fastest guy in a particular class, a lot of times he is finding the peak level of your product. And at that point, you need to go back to the drawing board on some of these items and make them better. For the consumer, we have a product called a 6112 series, and this is a large diameter kit that goes on the front of half-ton trucks, and it's designed to level the vehicle to get larger tires on and more ground clearance. It uses a 60 millimeter body, which is what we use in a lot of off-road racing shocks. It uses the same technology, and you're going to get a lot more performance, a lot smoother ride over rough roads. And just generally on the road, all around, you're going to have a lot better performance, a lot better ride with a 6112 series kit.
If you're going to race on or off-road, then you're going to need safety equipment. Impact Racing Equipment has just what you need. Check it out.
One of our technologies that we do is blast attenuating seats and restraints for military vehicles, armored vehicles. So using some of the energy attenuation that we learned through our applications in military, we've applied that to our helmets and our restraint systems, and we brought in a lot of good technology since we've acquired the company. In this year, we actually have a new device. We have a new frontal head restraint. It's the first time that our company has actually offered this device, so we're pretty excited to be able to introduce this. We launched it at PRI in December of 2014, and we actually have it available for shipping come on Monday. So we're pretty excited about that. And then we also have a new helmet coming out in October 1st of 2015. The Snell 2015 standard is coming out. So we're excited to be able to offer that to our customers as well. At Impact, we're pretty technologically advanced, and what separates us from others in our frontal head restraint is it's adjustable. It adjusts from 10 to 40 degrees. So the customer that races a sprint car one day and then an off-road truck the next day, they can use one device because it adjusts for their seat layback. So we built that in based on our customer feedback that they wanted one device that was cost effective. The price point for it is $599, so it's pretty affordable for every racer. And it's also manufactured from a lightweight DuPont carbon Kevlar composite. So it's lightweight, it's affordable, it's adjustable, it works for all complements of motorsports. So we're pretty proud of this new device that we've been able to introduce this year. The devices are SFI 38.1, and every 5 years the devices need to be recertified. So the customer can just send it back to us. We do an integrity inspection. If like the tethers need to be replaced, we replace those and we put a new SFI sticker on the device, and then we send it back out to the customer, and it's good for another 5 years of use before it needs to be recertified. At Impact, we're really conscious about safety, and every 5 years a new Snell standard comes out. The Snell standard for 2010 was obviously released in 2010. We have a new standard coming out October 1st, 2015, and we've already developed all of our helmets for the new standard. We're working on a new line of carbon fiber helmets, which are a lot lighter than previous versions of the helmet. They're about a half pound lighter than our previous carbon fiber helmet, and the weight savings is actually a big contributor to reducing the risk of concussion or injury. Weight and concussions actually go hand in hand with each other. So if you can lighten up the helmet significantly, you can reduce the potential for a concussion.
Now, if you have plans of off-roading, then you need to lift that truck up and put some bigger wheels and tires on it. For that, you're going to need a lift kit.
We've been building some of the best kits out there on the market for the last 40 years. For 2015, we're really excited about the new F-150 kits. We do a leveling kit that's 2 inches, lifts the front to get it level with the rear. We do a 4.5-inch suspension lift, 6-inch suspension lift. Both of those kits come with CNC machine steering knuckles, heavy-duty skid plate for the differential. 4.5-inch kit will allow you to run a 35-inch tire. 6-inch kit will allow you to run a 37-inch tire. On our 2015 F-150 kit, we require a 20-inch wheel. You'll see some companies that will allow you to get an 18 on it. But to get an 18-inch wheel on there, we would have had to compromise suspension geometry, and it caused toe-in change throughout the suspension travel. So in order to prevent that, it does require you to run a 20-inch wheel. It's not a compromise we were willing to make when we produced that kit. We wanted to maintain OEM steering and suspension geometry, OEM ride quality, while allowing you to run either a 35 on a 4.5-inch kit or a 37 on a 6-inch kit. And we came through pretty good on that kit. The kit's going to come with CNC machine steering knuckles, new cross members, differential drop brackets, heavy-duty skid plate, and then a block kit for the rear and new shocks for the rear. We have 3 different shock options on the rear. We have a Hydro 7000, which is our hydraulic shock. We have a Nitro 8000, which is our nitrogen gas charge shock. And we have our M95 performance monotube shock.
Hey, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to meet up with one of my favorite builders and check out a local cruise-in. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Jen, and you're watching REV'N News.
Hey everybody, welcome back to REV'N News. As I said before, I was trying to get a hold of Steve Frisbee. He's been too busy talking to people, but I just got him. Steve, welcome to REV'N News.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you too. How's the show been so far?
Show's been great. It's busy, and like you said, you're so busy talking, you don't even know who you're talking to half the time. So.
Most of the time, but in fact, I was telling these guys, don't you hate it when you run into somebody and you forget their name?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time, right? Yeah. Hey, look, I was telling the story about these Fords. You got to give us a quick little walk around on this vehicle. This one, not only look at the crowd, obviously, but this vehicle is one of those cars where you see it, it's like, yeah, that's why we come to that Grand National Roadster show.
Well, this is a real interesting car. It's an old show car that was built by Valley Custom, and it won Oakland Roadster Show in 1952, and it went through a series of shows. It got a lot of trophies, a lot of magazine coverage, and then it got into an accident in about 1955. And in 57, it was taken back to Valley Custom, and they restyled it. And they restyled the front end, the rear end. They fixed the side swipe, and they painted it a different color. And but they still kept the same interior of the first style. So, and then it went on to get shown again in more magazines and more magazines. And
the gift that kept on giving?
It did. It really did. So it really had a good reputation, and it was shown for many, many years. And about 9 years ago, the original owner's nephew called me, and he said, I think you're the kind of guy that should buy this car because of your restoration background. And so I ended up buying it, and then we started restoring it about 9 months ago. And we did a lot of research, a lot of documentation, because I wanted it to be exactly the way Valley Custom restored it, exactly, down to every nut and bolt. So, like I said, we did a lot of research, and we have a lot of old pictures, old show pictures, old magazines, and so it's been a real journey. It's been fun.
Can we take a look at some of the fine points on the vehicle to share with our viewers?
Absolutely.
Let's do that.
Absolutely.
How about we start at the engine? Everybody likes to start there, huh?
Okay, this was a car that the young man who got the car, his parents bought it brand new for him to go to college in. So they bought him a 50 Ford with a 6-cylinder, no heater, business coupe, no back seat, just a cheap car. And he took it down to Valley Custom, and they cut it from one end to the other, and they sectioned 5.5 inches out of the body. His mother didn't see the car until it was cut into 2 pieces.
That probably went over well.
Yeah, I imagine it was a good dinner conversation. Yeah. But anyway, they restyled it and built it for him. The cost to restyle that car back in 1951 or customize it was $1,800. That was the whole bill.
We got that in tires.
I got more than that in paint. Yeah.
That's for sure. Speaking of the paint, tell us a little bit about that striking.
Well, it started out as in 1957 when it was repaired and restyled. They changed the front end and the back end. And back then, 57 Chevrolet, 56 Chevrolet had Sierra Gold out. And so it was a Sierra Gold color, a Chevrolet color, which they tweaked a little bit. You know, they got to change everything.
Yeah.
And so that's what it ended up. It ended up 57 Chevy Sierra Gold. And he showed it with 54 Chevrolet hubcaps on a 1950 Ford. So
love that hubcap touch too.
Yeah, it's different. it's mixing the genes, the gene pool.
Yeah, one of the nicest Ford clubs that we've seen here at the Grand National Roadster Show. I noticed you have another little vehicle in the background here. Can we talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that's a 1939 Ford convertible.
Okay.
And all Ford convertibles came with a rumble seat.
Right.
This particular owner wanted a trunk on the car, so we took the rumble seat out, and we got a 40 Ford trunk, and then we made all the sheet metal to go around. But this is the 4th car I built for this client. This is a client out of Phoenix, Arizona.
That's a little clean under the hood as well.
Yeah.
Let's take a little peek behind there. Wow. Talk about well engineered, huh?
That's a late model flathead Ford with a reproduction Scott blower, and the look-alike carburetors are actually fuel injectors.
Wow.
Made by Auto Trend.
Nice touch. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Oh, this thing has got power and just purrs like a kitten.
What are we doing with the transmission?
Transmission is a Tremec 5-speed.
Okay. Tremec very popular with a lot of these vehicles now.
Yeah, very, very reliable, very popular.
What are we doing in the rear end?
Just did a Ford 9-inch.
Sure. Thanks for Ford 9-inches, huh? They always work.
Yeah, they get used. Yeah, it's good.
Well, I'll tell you what, we appreciate the time you took. I know there's another group of folks wanting to talk to you. Folks, it's Steve's Auto Restorations, Portland, Oregon, manufacture and assemble all types of steel and aluminum, 32s, 33, 34s, coupes and roadsters. Another great opportunity to visit one of the great builders in our industry. Thanks so much, Steve.
Oh, thanks for your time.
Talk
Appreciate
to you
it.
soon.
If you've never visited the city of Chattanooga, Tennessee, then you're missing out. It's one of the most happening towns in the United States.
That's right. Not only is Chattanooga home to Moon Pies, Little Debbie Snack Cakes, and REV'N TV, it's also home to the largest tire company for classic cars, Coker Tires. And every year, Coker Tire Company puts on the Coker Cruisin', where thousands of folks come out and enjoy the cars.
And to top it all off, Coker Tire has a museum filled with some of the rarest gems in the classic car industry. And because we cover anything that revs, we went and checked it out. Take a look. The Chattanooga Cruisin' is a laid-back car show located in the Dynamo of Dixie, Chattanooga, Tennessee. It all started as an open house at Coker Tire and Honest Charlie Speed Shop in downtown Chattanooga, and has grown into the premier cruisin' events in the South. The event is sanctioned by the Coker Tire staff, and each Chattanooga Cruisin' features an open house, allowing spectators to view all the cool stuff inside the 100-year-old Coker headquarters.
The Chattanooga Cruisin' is the largest single-day cruisin' event in the Southeast. Always held in April, it's one of the first car shows of the season and draws a huge turnout. With over 2,500 cruising cars and approximately 15,000 spectators throughout the day, this is an event that you don't want to miss.
I'm Bobby Smith from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. This is a 34 Chevrolet Master Deluxe, 4-door sedan. Really the only thing changed on this car is the drivetrain. All the body on this car is the original sheet metal and everything on it. Got a Mustang 2 front on it, 8-inch Ford rear, and the 229 V6 with 250 metric transmission. Been a good old car. I've owned it since '86, so it's been a good one. I was up here today, and I hope it gets us home.
My name is William Clark from Morristown, Tennessee. Come down to enjoy the car show here in Chattanooga with friends. This is a 1953 Ford. It's completely restored. It's been drove out to Pomona, California to the Roadster Show, and we just decided to come down to Chattanooga, enjoy it with some of my home Tennessee volunteer fans. And we're looking forward to coming back in the spring and to have a good time. I'm really enjoying myself.
Hey, my name is Russ Robertson. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I have a 1966 Mustang. It's springtime yellow, factory air, the factory wheels. Pretty much all original. Wanted a semi-original car. And this is the way it is. Have the window sticker, still have the original window sticker, the check from where the car was purchased, and the air installed. So that's my car.
Hello, my name is Dwayne Tankerswell. I live in Flintstone, Georgia. I purchased this 57 about 4 years ago. It was black, original paint on it, and a good friend of mine that I go to church with, his wife wanted to buy the car, and I told her I could not sell it to her, but her husband insisted on it, so I sold it to him, and after about 10 months of registration on it, the car is completed, and he brought it down today to present it to his wife that she was born in 1957, she's 57, and her first car was a 57, so it's kind of nostalgic, but turned out to be a beautiful car. And Stella Roselle is now the proud owner of this vehicle.
I'm Stella. I was born in 1957. I'm 57 years old and always wanted a 57, and my husband gave this to me today, 57 Chevy. Thank you, honey.
This is Brent Howard from Corsa Performance, and you're watching REV'N News.
Welcome back to REV'N News. You know, since our last segment highlighted a local cruise-in, why not let you learn a little bit more about the company that put it on, Coker Tire.
Coker Tire has a great history. It was started in 1958 as a auto service center and tire shop. They did service work on just everyday vehicles in the late 50s, and Harold Coker actually had a little back room on the side. He collected antique cars, had friends that had antique cars, and they didn't have classic tires for their antique cars. So he took it upon himself to look for old molds and start producing tires for his friends for the hobby. And it was sort of an oh by the way thing. And so he had this little side business going, and it eventually grew. And Corky became involved and sort of took that upon himself to grow the business, and it's what we've turned into now. You know, we sell all over the world. We have tires for vehicles from back to 1885 Daimler up through a mid-80s BMW for a TRX Michelin. So we can have a tire and more or less supply a rim as well, whether it's a steel rim, a wood wheel, bias ply, or a radial tire for that application to keep them on the road. I'd like to tell you about our American Classic Bias Look Radial. It's one of our most exciting new products. It comes in a 15-inch. We also have a 14-inch in that as well. We will be adding some new sizes. It is a tire that has a bias ply look, but it's radial construction. It has all the positive attributes of a radial tire. It has a great tread life. It's S-speed rated. But the cool thing is, so it has the bias ply profile, the bias ply look. And you can see that we have our wide white wall that was debuted in 2013, semi-new product of the year. We had some great customer feedback on that, but they wanted a black wall as well. So we introduced the black wall line in that tire. And it's been a great hit. We're really excited about it. It's great for anything from mid-50s up through late 60s. We also have applications for guys running rat rods. We can do bigs and littles. And it's also neat because we can get a radial white wall to tuck up underneath the fender skirt of a mid to late 50s vehicle and just drive down the road. And you still have the pie crust look in the sidewall, but you have all the great handling and great ride comfort of a radial.
No tire's complete without some great wheels. And a great company for nostalgic wheels is Rocket Racing Wheels.
Tell me a little bit about Rocket. What does Rocket do?
Well, Rocket Wheels is traditional hot rod, one-piece cast aluminum wheels, and we fit everything from the hardcore hot rod to the pro touring muscle car. Early cars that you'd see on the drag strip in the 60s, out on the salt flats. We've revived those brands. Originally, a lot of those were made out of magnesium, which is a very volatile material and not stable. And so we've cast all of these wheels out of one-piece cast aluminum. They're not custom-built wheels. They're made like they were back in the 60s, one-piece cast. And so that's sort of what we do. We have take those original classic styles and improved them. We've added caliper clearance, brought in more sizes, better fitments for more applications. I've been doing this all of my life, so I know pretty much what all the hot rod and muscle car sizes are and what fits most of the application. I tell people we don't fit everything, but we fit most of everything because we fit the sizes, back spacings, bolt patterns that people are looking for.
Nice. David, Rocket has been known for innovation and constantly changing, but still embracing the past. What do you have that's new coming up?
Well, we are always bringing out new styles. Our latest style that we brought out last year was the Solid Rocket and the Rocket Fire. And those two wheel styles originally were pulled out of the same mold. They were made out of magnesium, but they were pulled out of the same mold. Halibran brought that style to the Indy 500, and it actually replaced the wire wheel at the Indy 500. They kept breaking spokes, and so they went to a solid wheel and lighter, stronger. And so that's what we did. We brought that style back. We made it, instead of a reversible wheel, we made it a conical seat, so you have to pick which style you want. But back then at Indy, they actually flipped the wheels over to actually tune the suspension the way it handled that on the track, because the offsets were different. So that was a nice little feature back then. Today you can't do that. You got to pick which way you want to go. But we did make this. It was originally a pin drive wheel. We made it a 5-lug bolt-on for hot rods and muscle cars, and they're available in 16 and 18-inch sizes, just like Halibran did.
Well, that wraps up this episode of REV'N News.
And if you just can't get enough of cars, trucks, Jeeps, shows, parts, and products, then keep tuning each week to REV'N News.
And we invite you to follow us on Facebook and check us out on YouTube. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
My name's Herb Wright from People's Quality Auto in Scottsboro, Alabama. It's a 1955 Chevy truck. It's got a crate 350. The front of the frame is a 79 Z28 Camaro. Rear end's out of a 79 Z28. And so is the transmission. Other than that, it's just the way we pulled it into the shop.